Well, hello there. My name is Beth Gaff, and I am the systems manager, robotics instructor, and technology trainer here at the Peabody Public Library. Welcome back to another session of virtual travels and destinations. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Boston, Massachusetts, and all of the things that we could possibly or potentially do. This could be put on a budget. In the past, we've done our travels and destinations with a budget and things along those lines. But from here on out, this is more of just an adult version of virtual field trips. So we're just going to kind of take a look at Boston, Massachusetts, and you can decide what you want to do and how you want to get there and where you want to stay. If you need assistance in planning a trip, I'm really good at it. So you could get with me here at the library, and I'd be more than happy to assist you with making sure that you are doing this in a budget-friendly manner. So I have gone ahead and done some of the research here, and I already have some websites for us to take a look at. So I basically just went into my web browser and I typed in virtual field trips for Boston, Massachusetts. And I came up with a lot of different hits, and I just picked a few of them from there. Here's a really great one to follow for you homeschooled parents that may be wanting to do this as a virtual field trip. This kind of gives you the curriculum for that and allows you to see, and I did follow this link here at the bottom, which is what this is. So we're going to actually just kind of look at some of these features of Boston, Massachusetts, and see what all there is out there for us. So welcome to Boston. With its rich history, outstanding museums, and colleges, Boston, Massachusetts has something for everyone. Walk the Freedom Trail, explore the State House, visit an aquarium, and there are a lot of more of tours. So let's take a look at the Freedom Walk and see what all that entails. So this is the Freedom Trail, and you could get into this a little bit deeper if you wanted to. I thought maybe there would be a video for us, but I am not seeing one. That's okay, but this is all about this is a virtual Freedom Trail tour. Let's see. Oh, okay, and we can click on some of these and it gives us information about that. That's pretty cool. So you'd be able to do this from home without even being there, but the best experience would be actually being there. So let's look at the Commonwealth Museum. Very cool. This is taking a virtual tour of the Commonwealth Museum. So if we wanted to click on the 1600s, let's see what this is. Okay, it's a gallery. So we would be able to kind of do a 360, click on the eyes, and it takes you into these places. Okay. So this tells us about the natives and the settlers. Uh, and we can return to the tour from here, and then we're able to pick on other ones. All right, so the natives and the settlers. So we can just return to, but this tells you about that particular one. That's pretty awesome. Says we can use the arrow button up to move around. Ooh, we can go up and down, left and right. Nice. So all these little eyes here you can click on and they'll take you to another part. So you could explore the Commonwealth Museum. That's pretty exciting. Did I lose it? No. All right, let's look at the New England Aquarium. This is a mini tour. They have all kinds of stuff over here, a virtual program. Let's see what the mini tour is.
Hello, fish friends. Are you ready for an itty bitty tiny tour of the New England Aquarium? I hope you are, because my name is Madison and I am the aquarium's mini tour guide. Today, in honor of the Valentine's season, we're going to take a look at some of our animals who are in relationships, starting with our living corals. Something you might not know about corals is they're not just pretty underwater flowers. In fact, a single coral, like any one of the corals behind me, is a colony of thousands of tiny animals called polyps. Now, every polyp shares the same DNA. It is technically one organism. It's actually a colonial organism. But that's not all that's going on in a coral. Coral is in a very important and very close relationship with a tiny microscopic marine algae called zooxanthellae. Each one of those thousands of polyps has a little bit of zooxanthellae living inside of it. Now the coral provides that zooxanthellae a safe place to live, shelter. In return, the zooxanthellae, through photosynthesis, turns sunlight into sugar, which it feeds the coral. And that sugar provides corals upwards of 70% of their nutrients. So that is a very important relationship. Because of the relationship between coral polyps and zooxanthellae, corals are able to grow and form these massive underwater cities that we call coral reefs. Now, 1 out of every 4 species known in the ocean lives on a coral reef. Talk about the power of friendship. Moving up to our second floor, we move from friendship to romance. Behind me is our weedy sea dragon exhibit, and although these animals are famous for their excellent camouflage, can you see them? There's also something pretty special about their mating ritual. Like many of us, these animals enjoy a little courtship dance. So once in a blue moon, weedy sea dragons leave the safety of their weedy homes, and when they choose a mate, they start to mirror each other exactly, perfectly mirroring each other's movements as they rise in the water column, spinning and rising up to 10 feet above their weedy home. This is the most vulnerable time in a sea dragon's life because it's the only time they're visible to predators. But it's worth it. After their courtship dance, the female will deposit her eggs on the belly of the male. The male will then fertilize them and carry them on his abdomen until they hatch. That's some pretty good fatherhood. Speaking of fatherhood, I bring you back down to our first floor to talk about our penguin parents. Many of the penguins you'll see at the New England Aquarium are parents of their very own chicks. But what you might not know about penguins is they are monogamous. Now, you might have heard a rumor that penguins mate for life. That is sometimes true, but what monogamy really means is that generally, a penguin will mate with the same partner season after season. However, just like people, sometimes penguins change their minds. One thing that doesn't change, though, is their very good parenting skills. A mated pair, male and female, will take turns staying with the egg to make sure it's safe and warm. So those are some pretty good parents. However, not all penguin pairs are parents. In fact, we have some mated pairs of penguins who are male and male or female and female. Regardless of whether these penguins will ever produce offspring, you can still see them engaging in adorable bonding behaviors like preening, where they clean each other's feathers. Feathers are very important to penguins as they are the key to keeping them safe and warm in the water while they hunt. Pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed this mini tour of the New England Aquarium. If you're interested in learning more about our animals and the amazing behaviors they get up to during the day and night, be sure to tune in to all of New England Aquarium's social media channels. Hit that follow button. See you next time.
All right, well, that was so that was really fun. I'm glad that we took that journey. Let's Let's get out of this now. I've lost everything. All right, so they've got a lot of stuff over here that they have virtual programs that you could go into for that aquarium to see if this is something. They've got a trip planner. See if this is something that you would be interested in visiting while you are in Boston. Let's take a look at the Museum of Fine Arts. So they have expeditions, some programs, collections. This would be a very, very fun. They have online events, things you could do while you're there. So there's a lot of potential with this as well. So you could definitely take a look at that. And then they've got the rest of these. Now, what I'd like to do is look at a perfect 3-day week. Excuse me, a perfect 3-day weekend in Boston. And I found this under the travel and leisure section. So on day one, this tells you that you can fly in to the Logan International Airport, which is the best way to get the lay of the land. There's a $20 taxi ride to a specific hotel. Drop your bags off and take a view of the floor to ceiling windows before you head to the Fort Point. So day two, you can get a jump start with some coffee at one of their local coffee shops. Lots of food options for you. And then day three, so this would give you the opportunity to travel accordingly to a 3-day perfect weekend in Boston. So that would be very fun. Let me go back and see what else we've got. The best of Boston. There are 30 things to see and do in Boston. Let's check those out. Looks like we may have a video. Let's see what this video. Oop, let's let it get through there. Okay. So they have the Walk the Freedom Trail. We looked at that. Step back in time at the Paul Revere House. That would be fun. Scroll through the Boston Commons, see animals at the aquarium, take the kids to the Franklin Park Zoo. So as you can see, there is actually quite a bit of stuff that you could do in Boston. Now, under the trip advisory, here's where you can get some of those vacation packages or extra destinational things that you could do. This one is the Hop On, Hop Off Trolley Tour with 15 stops. This just takes you from point to point to point. So you could pay for that. They also have a tour of the historical Fenway Park. So they have tickets for that. The Ghosts and Gravestones Nighttime Trolley Tour. They have the Harvard Museum Campus Guide, Boston Tea Party Ships and Museums admission. That would be cool. Let's take a look at that. So when you're planning a trip to Boston, you're going to want to make sure that you want to get, and I am going to break this down into actually planning a trip. So let's look at some of the pictures involved with this. So you'd be able to drop your own tea over. That's kind of cool. And they take you back to that era, which is awesome. That would be a good time and a fun show for sure. But you want to make sure that when you're traveling or when you're planning your trip to Boston, that you are planning it accordingly to however you're planning on getting there. So let's take a look at Travelocity. And we can do this together. So you're just going to type in Travelocity in your search engine. And we're going to click on their official site. Because we're probably in different areas and we don't live close to each other, you're going to want to put in your area. So we are going to, here, let's go to, excuse me, packages. I am leaving from the Fort Wayne area. So you would type in wherever your location is. And I'm going to Boston, Massachusetts. And let's say that I want to do this in May. I'm going to leave on the 6th. Yeah, I'm going to leave on the 16th and I'm just going to spend 3 nights and I'm going to come back. So this would be a 3-night trip. I can click search. Now, by doing the packages, this is going to, here we go. This is going to give me hotel options. It's going to allow me to pick my flights. If I want to add a car while I'm there. So here is some of the hotels that are recommended. These prices do include your flight and your stay. So it really just depends on where you want to stay. If you're on a budget, you could come in here to the filtering and go to price. And it's going to start you out with the lowest price that you can possibly get, but sometimes it's about getting what you pay for. So let's take a look at this motel. When you're in the motel options, you can look at the reviews. Let's see if we can find some reviews on here. People that have stayed here before. Here we go. Let's see, January of 22, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. There is a 1 out of 5 that says terrible. 3 out of 5. For the most of part, they're getting a 3.5 out of 5 on an average. So it's an average hotel. Let's see what some of our pictures look like. So this would be your hotel. Very simple. If you plan on doing a lot of traveling and you don't really plan on spending a whole lot of time in the room anyway, then this may be a good place for you just because it's a place to lay your head, but yet you're not going to be there very much. Let's see what some of their amenities are, which means what you're going to get for staying. They have internet, parking, and transportation. Conveniences, they don't have any elevators. Languages, let's see, food and drink, bedroom, air conditioners, checking ins at 3, checking outs at 11. They do not allow pets, so if you're planning on bringing your dog, then you may want to pick somewhere else. Here's some of our options. They have 1 queen bed, 2 doubles, quadruple room with 3 beds for an extra $28. So let's go back and look at a different hotel. Here is the Red Roof Inn Plus. And let's see, parking is included. It is pet friendly. Let's see what some of our reviews are on this one. They get a 3.8 out of 5. So they're, in comparison to the other one, they're a little bit better. Here's some pictures of the rooms that you could reserve. Oh, that's nice. It looks like they have, sorry, I'm trying to go back, but my screen, there we go. It looks like they have a refrigerator and a microwave in the rooms, which is really nice, especially if you're going to be bringing meals back to your room to heat up for later. Okay, so let's get out of this. Here are our options of rooms. They have a deluxe, 2 double beds, a standard, so your deluxe is a little bigger. They have a superior king. premium room, upgraded bedding and snacks. So it's just all what you would want. So let's get out of this one and let's go to the Clipper Ship Inn. 3.9 out of 5, so a little better still. These are the pictures. They're kind of homey looking. Looks pretty spacious. Very nice. So you just want to research where you plan on staying um, to see what's going to be the best for you. See what some of their room choices are here. For 2 queens in a basic room, there is no extra cost. However, a suite with 2 queens, refrigerator, and microwave based on double occupancy is 19 extra dollars. So these rooms are quite large. Refrigerator, microwave. This one's sold out and this one's sold out. Now, if you find one that you like, you can go ahead and click on reserve. And now it's taken my cost up a little. And now I can see flights going in. So it looks like I would probably choose a connection flight. And that's going there. So coming back, I don't like layovers. That's just my thing. I just don't really like them. So I would pay a little extra just so I don't have, let me see if there's no direct. So I really don't want to leave at 6 a.m. though if I'm going to get there. Not till 4:25 anyway. So I'm going to click this one. So now I'm reviewing my trip. And so I've chosen a hotel. I have chosen and now I could add a car if I wanted to. Okay, this is for 2 travelers. So you're paying $1,000 for 2 travelers. That's actually a pretty good deal. $500 to go to Boston. That includes your flight and your hotel. So this one definitely has my vote. There's no fees to cancel within 24 hours. Let's see what the final details are. So then you would add in Traveler 1, Traveler 2. You could protect it if you wanted. Yeah. So this is just one site that does this. There are a lot of them. Expedia, Priceline, Hotwire, Travelocity, they're all about the same in that aspect. So you could kind of search around though and see what other ones. And then once you get the cost of what it's going to cost you to get there, to stay there, now you can come back and start to figure out what you want to do while you're there and what kind of things you want to see. And that would be, oops, that would be your added expenses. So if you wanted to do the Ghost Night Tour, let's see what all that includes. It's a trolley tour. and they take you through. This is pretty cool. So you could enter a date of when you want to go. You hop on board the trolley of the doomed, the haunted site of Boston. It's approximately 2 hours long. It shows you historic attractions and ghost tales created on the entertaining and educational mix. So it's a fright seeing tour. But there are a lot of different things, as you can see, that you could do while you're there. Looks like they have a Martha's Vineyard day trip from Boston round trip ferry to the island tour. That's kind of cool. Now, if you don't want to pay for a lot of things, you could type in free things to do in Boston, and let's see what it comes up with. All right, so it looks like the free things to do in Boston, the Freedom Trail, so there are quite a few things you could do in Boston that do not cost. And these are the highlighted areas of those. So here's our Ghost and Grave Sites tour. Here's the bookstore, the State House, Museum of African American History, the Paul Revere House. I am not sure where that is located. So, regardless, there's a lot you could do in Boston. You could do it on a budget-friendly way for $1,000 or less. You could spend 3 nights in Boston and be able, adding a couple more $100, you could have some pretty nice sightseeing. So, all right. Well, I hope that you got the most out of our travels and destinations today. I will include for you the link, and you can Google the rest. But if you have any further questions or need any assistance, you can get a hold of me here at the library. Hey, thanks so much for being a part of our travels and destinations, and I hope to see you next month. Have a great one. Bye.